Janet was living her double life, turning into a snake at midnight and striking down her neighbors one by one. But with Sandra now in the house, things were getting complicated. Sandra, sent by the snake mother, was supposed to push Janet to finish her mission faster. Yet, here she was, eyeing Mr. Paul with a hunger that had nothing to do with raw meat or insects. "Janet, your husband is quite the charmer," Sandra whispered one evening while they prepared dinner. Janet shot her a venomous glare. "Stay away from him, Sandra. He's mine." But Sandra just smiled, her eyes flickering like a serpent's tongue. Mr. Paul, oblivious to the snake pit in his own home, started noticing strange things about Sandra too. She ate the same wild foods as Janet, raw eggs, live bugs, and she had this eerie way of staring at him during meals. One night, he couldn't sleep, tormented by dreams of snakes slithering through the house. He got up for water and overheard the two women whispering in the kitchen. "The snake mother demands results, Janet. You've only taken out 18 neighbors so far. The entire block needs to be cleared for our coven to claim this territory." Sandra's voice was low and hissing. "I'm working on it," Janet snapped. "But with Paul watching me closer after that innocent fiasco, it's risky." Paul's heart pounded. Coven, snakes. He backed away quietly, piecing it together. The midnight disappearances, the mysterious deaths, the fake symptoms. His beautiful wife, a monster. He decided to play it cool, but inside, rage and fear boiled. Meanwhile, Mr. Innocent's sickness worsened. What started as fever turned into agonizing pain, his skin turning scaly and dry, as if he were shedding like a reptile. Doctors were baffled. "It looks like some rare autoimmune disease," they said. But Janet knew better. Her curse was eating him from the inside out. A few days later, the neighborhood was in full panic. Another 3 neighbors dropped dead overnight, one from food poisoning, another from a heart attack, and the third from electrocution in their bathtub. Whisper spread, "It's a curse on this street." People started moving out, but Janet wasn't done. She had a list, and Sandra was helping now, turning into a sleek black snake to assist in the kills. One shocking night, they targeted the community leader, Mrs. Adebayo, who organized prayer videos against the evil spirits plaguing the area. Janet slithered into her home, bit her neck, and left her looking like she choked on her own dinner. But Paul was on to them. He installed hidden cameras around the house, pretending it was for security after the recent deaths. That midnight, as Janet and Sandra prepared to transform, Paul watched on his phone from the living room. At exactly 12 o'clock, he saw it, their bodies contorting, skin rippling into scales, faces elongating into fangs. "My God," he muttered. The 2 snakes slipped out through a vent. Paul followed discreetly, his phone recording everything. They headed to the last cluster of neighbors who hadn't fled yet, a family of 5 in the corner house. The snakes struck swiftly. Janet went for the parents, her venom making it look like a gas leak explosion in their sleep. Sandra handled the children, leaving marks that mimicked a sudden outbreak of some deadly virus. But as they slithered back, Paul was waiting outside with a group he'd secretly rallied, surviving neighbors armed with sticks, machetes, and flashlights. He'd shown them the video earlier that evening. "It's my wife and her friend," he'd confessed, tears in his eyes. "They are the killers, witches, snakes." The chase was on. Janet and Sandra, caught off guard, tried to flee, but the group was relentless. Touches lit the night as they cornered the snakes in an alley. "That's them! The green one is Janet!" Paul shouted, his voice breaking. One neighbor swung a machete, slicing Sandra's tail. She hissed in pain, transforming back halfway in desperation, her body a grotesque mix of woman and serpent. The crowd gasped in horror. "Witches! Demons!" they screamed, pummeling her until she stopped moving. Sandra was gone. Her mission failed. Janet, faster and more cunning, dodged and wheeled, biting one man who fell, convulsing. But time was ticking. It was nearing 6 a.m. If she didn't change back, she made a desperate dash towards home, slipping through the chaos. Paul pursued her alone now, stick in hand. "Janet, stop this madness," he yelled. She reached the house, slithering inside, but Paul burst through the door just as the clock struck 5:55. In the bedroom, she began to transform back, but he grabbed the lamp and smashed it down. "You killed my sister, our neighbors, why?" he roared. "Half human, half snake," she hissed. "They admired me, threatened me. This territory is ours." But the curse of the dawn was upon her. As the first light of 6 o'clock hit, she froze mid-transformation, her body twisting in agony. She couldn't complete the change. Scales hardened permanently. Her screams turned to rasps. Paul, heartbroken, delivered the final blow with the stick, ending her reign of terror.
How could I have been so blind? He whispered. The neighbors burst in, seeing the half-snake corpse, and their fear turned to fury. They dragged it outside, dousing it in fuel and setting it ablaze. Burn the witch, they chanted. Smoke billowed into the sky, a signal that the killings were finally over. Word spread like wildfire. The police arrived, but what could they say? The evidence was charred, and the survivor story sounded like madness. Mass hysteria, the officials called it, blaming contaminated water or a serial poisoner who fled. But the locals knew the truth. They held a vigil for the dead. Mr. Innocent, wasting away in his hospital bed, heard the news on TV. The snake woman is dead, a nurse murmured. He laughed weakly, realizing his fate was sealed by her curse. By evening, he was gone too, his body shriveled like dried husk. The doctors listed it as organ failure from unknown toxin. Ironic, right? Janet's last laugh from beyond. Paul packed his bags that week, leaving the cursed house behind. His mother-in-law, still disabled from Janet's curse, passed away peacefully her sleep soon after, as if the spell lifted with Janet's death. Paul moved back to the village, remarried a simple woman, and finally had the children he longed for. But he never spoke of Janet again, except in warnings to his kids. Beauty can hide the deadliest fangs. As for the snake coven, the snake mother felt the loss of her daughters. Sandra and Janet were key players, and their failure meant the territory remained unclaimed. Whispers say the coven retreated, plotting revenge, but for now, they left the city alone. The remaining neighbors fortified their homes with charms and prayers, vowing to spot evil before it struck again. In the end, Janet's ambition devoured her. She wanted to clear the block for her kind, but her jealousy, lies, and unchecked rage led to her downfall. The neighbors who survived, they bonded in their trauma, turning the street into a tight-knit community. No more gossip, no more envy, just vigilance. And that's the most shocking part. From the ashes of horror, peace emerged. But remember, in the dead of night, if you hear a slither, check the clock. It might not be over. The end.